Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is troubled youth. And of course, we have with us to talk about some of the problems that many of our young people are facing today, a youth mentor. And the youth mentor is Reverend John L. Murphy. And of course, Reverend Murphy, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you, Doctor.
And to tell you, Reverend Murphy, how delighted we are to have you here, because your reputation was here before you, because we know quite a bit about you, and we've had an opportunity to talk to a number of people in reference to you and some of the things that you've been doing dealing with young people and with adolescents. Yes. And so what we'd like to do is to tap into that. But in order to make sure that many others understand who you are, let's have you to talk about your background, your education, and some of the things that were important in terms of eventually convincing you that you ought to become a youth mentor.
Well, Doctor, I started a long time ago, just growing up here in Nashville. I went to a local high school here and played athletics, and I kind of rallied around my teachers and getting into athletics and that sort of thing, and I moved on into schooling at Tennessee State for a while, and then found myself working in a educational realm as a instructional aide for the metropolitan schools, and working with young people at a time where integration was on the move and so forth. I was put in a position also as a community agent, as well as helping and assisting the teacher in the classroom setting. And so from that, I was encouraged to go back on and do some more schooling, and after a while I went on and I took a job working as an, I guess you would say, a juvenile correctional officer.
Very good.
I worked in that realm for several years. Of course, under that title, we changed into youth services, and then it was correctional juvenile justice and those type of different names, and then it moved on to youth development. And so I worked for this agency for quite a time, and now it's Department of Children's Services, of which I'm not commenting on the agency, I'm commenting on my affairs of how they have inspired me, and then working in ministry, how being around youth and doing mentoring and going into facilities as a chaplain volunteer and talking to men incarcerated, that I got interested in this sort of thing. And I was encouraged by my pastor, Pastor Ronnie Ballantyne of Gospel Tabernacle Church, and that he wanted me to continue on and develop the gift of talking to people. And so from that, troubled youth have just kind of weighed my mind down, and in prayers trying to figure out things I can do to further my life to help people, as well as develop with my own children and grandchildren and so forth, and mentoring to them.
You know, when we talk about, Reverend Murphy, troubled youth today, you've been dealing with this situation for the last, quarter of a century.
Yes.
And I think that in a real sense, we've had, we might say that we've been dealing with it on this show for the last 20 years. And it seems that all of us seem to have some of the same problems in terms of dealing with it. How would you define the young people today in terms of the trouble that they find themselves involved in?
Well, I think that you'll hear this statement quite often, that our young people like emulating a fantasistic world that they see on television, that there's not enough reading where you can get your own understanding. And mind you, there are a lot of kids that they're into reading. The Harry Potter type thing is going on big. And then our community have neglected them somewhat, being that outreach programs need to be more focused on them. There need to be a lot of focus on aftercare. Of course, our single parent home is on the rise, and even on both parents being there, people working extra jobs and so forth. latchkey type kids, have put them in a precarious way to take care of themselves or find other avenues that are not wholesome for them to get into. Just today, my daughter was asking me about some things for my daughter, my grandson.
Reverend, let's interfere here for our first commercial break, and then we'll pick up after we return. And this is exactly what we want to hear. We'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.